March 14th, 2012. A Secret Service agent in Newark stares at a single username appearing across 47 different carding forums simultaneously. 47, not 4, not 14, 47. The pattern screams confidence, a digital kingpin flaunting his empire of stolen card data worth an estimated 200 million. But buried in years of posts is something the agent can't quite see yet, a habit, invisible to everyone, including the man himself. What the kingpin didn't know yet, he'd already made the fatal mistake. The decision that would destroy everything was already in motion, repeated week after week, invisible in plain sight. One forum administrator's ego, against a federal task force hunting ghosts across the dark web. But here's what makes this case different. For months, he's been perfect. Military-grade encryption, spoofed locations, untraceable Bitcoin. His operational security is textbook flawless. Flawless. But here's what he doesn't know. The mistake is already made. One unconscious routine repeated every single Thursday at 11 p.m. A pattern so human, so mundane, it will unravel everything. How does a criminal mastermind with perfect digital discipline betray himself? And what everyday habit could possibly breach bulletproof anonymity? The answer was coming. But first, understand what he built. By early 2012, the Kingpin's carding forum controls a massive portion of all stolen credit card traffic on the dark web. A massive portion. Nearly half of all stolen card transactions on Earth flow through his marketplace. His marketplace moves 2 million stolen card numbers monthly, each one representing someone's financial life ready to be harvested. The escrow system he's built is revolutionary for the criminal underworld. A Ripper insurance program where he holds payments until buyers confirm the cards work. It's fraud with customer service. Theft with a money-back guarantee. Perfect crime, perfected. But here's the thing about perfection. It requires something most people don't think about. Lead investigator Keith Brennan sits in his Newark office, surrounded by printouts of forum posts, transaction logs, cryptocurrency wallets, 47 usernames, 200 aliases, not a single real name. We had everything except the one thing that mattered, he'd later recall. We had his digital fingerprints all over the dark web, but we couldn't connect them to actual fingers. Meanwhile, victims like Jennifer Martinez in Austin, Texas, discover their lives unraveling in real time. I went to buy groceries, and my card was declined, she remembers. By that afternoon, thieves had tried to charge $47,000 I didn't have, credit I didn't have. Debt collectors were already calling, her life imploding in hours. Multiply Jennifer by millions. That's the Kingpin's empire, built on surgical precision and apparent invincibility. But here's the thing about invincibility. It requires perfection, and perfection requires being something most criminals can't sustain. It requires being inhuman. What the Kingpin didn't know yet, his humanity was about to betray him. The man behind the screen didn't start as a kingpin. 6 years earlier, he was careful, methodical, small transactions, minimal footprint, paranoid operational security. He studied the mistakes of legends like Max Butler, who got caught bragging about his exploits on underground forums. He analyzed how Albert Gonzalez fell, throwing parties in Miami Beach penthouses, driving luxury cars, living like a drug lord while supposedly working tech support. The Kingpin would be smarter, disciplined, invisible, but success changes people. What he didn't know yet, success would be the thing that killed him. By 2012, his forum posts drip with arrogance. When rivals question his methods, he responds with technical breakdowns of his SQL injection attacks, showing off his sophistication. Some of us are professionals, one post reads. The rest of you are tourists. When underground rival Marcus Chen warns him about getting sloppy, the Kingpin dismisses it publicly. Feds can't touch what they can't find. And here's where it gets interesting. He's living the lifestyle he promised himself he'd avoid. a penthouse in Miami Beach, cash purchases that don't appear on any ledger, bottle service at clubs where he drops $50,000 on a Tuesday night. One member of his cash-out crew would later testify, "We were supposed to be invisible. He was living like a rap star." But here's what nobody expected. The very confidence that built his empire was about to become his prison. In February 2012, Sarah Chen, Chief Information Security Officer at a major payment processor, discovers a breach. 170,000 credit card numbers compromised in a single attack. The forensics are terrifying. The attack was elegant, she explains to federal investigators. Surgical. Whoever did this knew our systems better than we did. They understood our security measures and moved around them like water. The attack bears the Kingpin's signature. SQL injection through a vulnerability so subtle, most security teams would miss it. Payment data siphoned directly from processing systems before encryption. No malware, no trace, just knowledge and patience. Invisible precision. But precision leaves patterns. Keith Brennan has years of data now. Server logs, forum posts, transaction patterns, millions of data points creating an ocean of noise. Finding one person in that chaos feels impossible. Then he stops looking at the technology and starts looking at the person. Here's the psychological trick that made everything change. Everyone told me to focus on tracing the VPNs, cracking the encryption, following the Bitcoin, Brennan recalls. But I kept thinking about something a behavioral analyst told me once. You can't encrypt human nature. Everyone has routines. Everyone has patterns. The question was whether his pattern was visible in the noise. He assigns junior analyst Tim Rodriguez to run temporal analysis on every forum post, every administrator action, every transaction timestamp attributed to the Kingpin's known aliases. The algorithm searches for recurring patterns across 24 months of activity. 3 weeks later, Rodriguez walks into Brennan's office at 2:17 in the morning. He's found something. Every Thursday, between 11:03 p.m. and 11:47 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For 2 years, the Kingpin's posting activity spikes with clockwork consistency. Not every Thursday, that would be too obvious, but 73% of them. 73%. 2 years of invisible routine. 2 years of leaving breadcrumbs without knowing it. Stop chasing the technology, Brennan tells his team the next morning. Chase the person. He's got a schedule, which means he's got a location, which means he's got a life outside this forum. What they didn't know yet, they were about to get the breakthrough they needed. And that's when everything changed. 3 weeks after the pattern discovery, Atlanta police arrest a mid-level carder named David Sullivan during a cash-out operation. He's got tens of thousands of dollars in gift cards purchased with stolen credit data. He's facing 15 years in federal prison. Within 72 hours, he agrees to cooperate. Sullivan has never met the Kingpin. Nobody has. The operational security is airtight, encrypted communications only. No phone calls, no video chats, no in-person meetings. But Sullivan provides something more valuable than an identity. He provides context. The Kingpin mentioned it once in a private chat, Sullivan tells investigators. He said he had Thursday night obligations he couldn't miss. I assumed it was family stuff, maybe therapy, I don't know. But he said it like it was non-negotiable. Thursday nights are mine, he wrote. I don't care what's happening. I'm offline except for admin duties. Thursday nights are mine. 5 words that change everything. Brennan reads the transcript 3 times. It's not an external obligation, he realizes. It's internal. Thursday night is when he feels safe. It's when he gives himself permission to really run his empire without interruption. Here's the psychological truth that breaks most criminals. It's not about what he has to do. It's about what he wants to do. The pattern isn't a vulnerability he accepted. It's a ritual he chose, and that makes it unbreakable. But here's the insane part. That's exactly what makes it his handcuffs. By May 2012, a multi-agency task force forms. Secret Service, FBI Cyber Division, IRS Criminal Investigation. They start layering data. The Thursday pattern gets crossed with Bitcoin transaction timing. Even tumbled cryptocurrency leaves temporal traces. Despite VPN chains and proxy servers, latency analysis suggests East Coast USA, probably Florida or Georgia based on forum response times. Then Miami DEA provides a tip. One of their informants mentions a cash-out crew leader who has a business associate. Never says his name, works from home, drives a Porsche purchased with cash. Physical surveillance begins on suspects in the Miami Beach area. What the Kingpin couldn't see, the net was closing. May 3rd, 2012. Thursday night, 11:14 p.m. The Kingpin posts on his forum. Feds are blind, they'll never find us. Keep doing what you're doing. We're untouchable. What he doesn't know, federal agents are parked in unmarked vehicles watching locations, waiting to see which one produces that exact post at that exact timestamp. His monitor glows in the darkness of his penthouse. His fingers fly across the keyboard. He's king of his domain, and surveillance teams are triangulating his signal down to the building. The irony was beautiful, Brennan would later say. His ego made him post that night specifically to taunt us. That post's metadata gave us his location down to the neighborhood. He literally told us where to find him while claiming we never would. Underground rival Marcus Chen posts a cryptic warning that same night. Boss man's tempting fate. If I were a betting man, I'd say he's got 2 weeks max. Nobody on the forum understands what he means. They will soon. May 10th, 2012. The final Thursday before the world changes. Surveillance teams watch the suspects simultaneously. One suspect shows no activity. Another has brief internet usage, but the timing doesn't match. The target, the penthouse, the Porsche, the cash lifestyle, lights come on at 10:47 p.m. At 10:58 p.m., he orders food delivery, Thai food, paid in cash. The delivery creates a time-stamped confirmation of his presence in that exact location. 11:04 p.m. A new forum post appears under his administrator account. Triangulation software confirms the post originated from that address, that building, that apartment. They've got him. We watched the delivery driver go up at 11:02, Brennan recalls. The forum post appeared at 11:04. We had surveillance photos, IP confirmation, and a man who'd just signed for food with his real name on the receipt the driver would later provide. But here's what the Kingpin still didn't understand. The Thursday thing isn't poker night. It isn't a class or a support group or family dinner. It's his ritual, his sacred time. The one night every week he gives himself permission to truly inhabit his digital throne without distraction. It's when he feels most powerful, most safe, most himself. But that's what kills him, feeling safe. May 11th, 2012. 6:47 a.m. 43 federal agents execute a coordinated breach on the Miami Beach penthouse. The Kingpin is still in pajamas. His laptop is open. Encrypted drives are running. The smell of coffee fills the air. His first reaction is confidence. "You've got the wrong guy," he says calmly. "I want my lawyer." Then confusion as agents photograph his setup, seize his equipment, read him his rights. Then realization. They're not guessing. They know. 6 years of perfect operational security shattered in seconds. During processing at the federal facility, Brennan sits across from him in an interview room. "You want to know how we found you?" Brennan asks. The Kingpin stares, says nothing. "Thursday nights, 11 p.m. For 2 years. You never missed your window. That's what caught you. Not your encryption, not your VPNs, your schedule." The Kingpin laughs, not a happy laugh, the laugh of a man who just understood the punchline of his own joke. "Thursday nights were supposed to be my edge," he finally says. "My dedicated time, uninterrupted, professional, I thought routine made me disciplined. It did, Brennan replies. It made you disciplined enough to get arrested on a schedule. The evidence is staggering. 2 million credit card numbers stored on site. Over $1 million in cash hidden throughout the apartment. Encrypted communications with Carters in 17 countries. The entire infrastructure of his empire, documented and seized in 47 minutes. Simultaneously, coordinated raids take down key members of his cash-out crew across 4 states. The criminal ecosystem that took 6 years to build collapses in a single morning. But the real question was still unanswered. Why? Why couldn't he break the pattern? The answer comes months later during a prison interview. I could have changed it, he admits. Any week, I could have posted on Wednesday or Friday or not at all. But it felt wrong. That's the thing they don't tell you about discipline. Chaos feels wrong, even when order kills you. Thursday at 11 p.m. was when I felt like myself. The real me. Not the careful version, the authentic one. And that's the truth that haunts every investigator, every security expert, every person who thinks about digital anonymity. You can't be both invisible and yourself. April 2017. Federal sentencing hearing. 27 years, 200 million in restitution ordered, knowing most victims will never see a dollar. Jennifer Martinez attends the hearing. I got my life back, mostly, she says. But there's still this feeling every morning, checking my account, that it could happen again. He didn't just steal money, he stole the feeling of safety. The Kingpin's forum disappears within days. Marcus Chen and other top-tier Carters go deeper underground, learning the wrong lesson, get better at hiding, instead of the right one. You can't hide perfectly and remain human. People ask me about the sophisticated hacks, the military-grade encryption, the dark web infrastructure, Brennan reflects. The truth? Most criminals don't get caught by technology. They get caught by being human, by wanting comfort, routine, a sense of normalcy in an abnormal life. The pattern that destroyed the Kingpin wasn't a security flaw. It was a psychological need. The need to have something in his life that felt consistent, controllable, his. The same need that makes all of us check our phones at the same time each day, order the same coffee, take the same route to work. We are creatures of habit. It's what makes us functional. It's also what makes us findable. Today, Keith Brennan works active cases with the same basic architecture. Different criminals, different technologies, same human weakness. There's always a pattern, he says. Always. The question is whether we're looking at the right data to see it. The Kingpin sits in federal prison, his Thursday nights now defined by prison schedules instead of forum administration windows. The irony isn't lost on him. He built an empire on discipline, and discipline built his cage. His story isn't unique. Max Butler got caught bragging about his exploits. Albert Gonzalez fell because he couldn't resist living the high life. Roman Seleznev ran one of the most sophisticated carding operations in history until he took a vacation to the Maldives and was arrested at the airport. Every kingpin thinks they'll be the exception, the one who doesn't slip. They're all wrong, because the same thing that makes us human makes us trackable. The need for routine, for comfort, for moments when we feel truly ourselves. So here's the question that keeps investigators up at night. The question that connects this case to every case. What's your Thursday at 11 p.m.? What pattern are you leaving right now, thinking no one's watching? What digital footprint do you create without realizing it? What routine defines you so completely that someone analyzing your data could predict your next move? If a criminal mastermind with military-grade encryption, 6 years of perfect operational security, and a $200 million incentive to stay hidden couldn't break his pattern, what makes you think you could break yours? The answer is simpler than you want it to be. You can't. None of us can. Because breaking the pattern means breaking the thing that makes us feel human. And that's a price even kingpins won't pay, not even when it costs them everything.